Hey guys, so I just dyed my hair, as you could probably tell. I did my roots. I didn't actually refresh my color just because I feel like I don't necessarily need to yet, but in this video, I explained absolutely everything that I used and all the products and everything. I did a little question and answer section in this video, just so all the frequently asked questions that I get, I can kind of cover and get through all of those. And if you guys have any more questions, obviously, please feel free to ask. I will absolutely be answering any questions that you guys have on this video, so just leave them down below. But yeah, if you want to find out how I dye my hair red with no bleach, then please keep watching. I just want to let you guys know that I am not by any means a licensed hairdresser. I did not go to cosmetology school or anything. This is just from me and my experiences, and I really only can speak for my own hair. I haven't really done other people's hair that much to really say that I have enough experience to be able to give you guys the proper advice. So if you feel like you are not comfortable working with hair color and all this stuff, then just go to a hairstylist, because you don't want to ruin your hair and you don't want to fry your hair off, because it's not a good look, trust me. Probably the most asked question that I get is how I get my hair so red, and it's not that I'm ignoring you guys and I don't want to share it with you. I just feel like there's so much more to it than me telling you what hair dye I use and you going out and dyeing your hair. It took me almost a year and a half to get my hair to where it is right now and where I was happy with it. I just don't want you guys to think that you could wake up in the morning and be like, okay, well, I want red hair, and it's just gonna happen like that, because unfortunately something like this, unless you already have blonde hair, isn't really that simple. I have dark hair, so when I first started the process of going red, I had to bleach it, and I had been blonde previously, so my hair was pretty damaged already and I didn't really want to lighten it so much. So I figured I would tell you guys the whole story of my journey of getting to this hair color, because it wasn't an overnight thing. It was a time span of over 2 years, actually maybe like a year and a half, that it took me to actually get to where I want my hair to be. Yeah, so we're just gonna jump right into it. I am gonna be showing you guys everything that I use and how I apply the color. Okay, so I went to the salon and I got my hair bleached a little bit. I had blonde hair previously and it was really damaged from that still, so I didn't want to go all the way blonde just because I didn't think that my hair would withstand that. After I did the bleach, I put this like purpley color in it and I thought it was really pretty. I really loved it, and I decided to keep going and go more to the red side, and I just kept putting red hair dye, just a semi-permanent hair dye. I used to use Splat in the color raspberry, and I mean that was pretty, but at the same time it was dark and that wasn't really what I wanted. I think it was probably like a level 6, I guess you could say, maybe, yeah, around there. And I just wanted it like, wow, in your face, like, hi, I have red hair, you know? I went on the lookout because, again, like, I didn't want to bleach my hair, and I discovered this hair dye. It's by L'Oreal. It's the HiColor Hilites for dark hair only. I use the color Magenta because I feel like I tried the actual red one that they have before and it was just too much of an orangey red for me. I like to keep my red more on the blue side so it looks a little bit more pink, just because when it fades to pink as opposed to orange. So I went out and I got this, and I started out by using it with a 40 developer. Basically, I would put it all over my hair and let it on. I think it's 30 minutes you have to leave it on. Do that every single time I dyed my hair. Every like maybe 6 weeks I did that, every time my roots would come in. And eventually I did get my hair to the lightness that I wanted it, but I kept using this hair color, and what ended up happening was I realized that my hair was fading a lot faster than it was before, because this actually lifts your hair while it deposits that red color, if that makes sense. So because every time I was going in and lifting out the color, it would fade faster. I hope that I'm explaining all of this right. Again, I didn't go to cosmetology school or anything, so this is just from me and my experience with my own hair. So instead of putting this all over my hair, I started just putting it right on my roots. And for the rest of my hair, I just wanted like a semi-permanent color just so it would deposit color onto my hair because it was already as light as I wanted it and it was already red. I felt like it was really unnecessary to just continue to chemically process my hair if it didn't really need it. So I went out and I got these. It's the Ion Color Brilliance Brites, and I started out using just red. And that was really nice and it looked so beautiful when I would first put it on, but then once it started fading, it would get orange and I really wasn't happy with that, and I felt like I had to dye my hair more often for that reason. So every time I did my hair, I started adding a little bit more and more pink because I didn't want to just automatically go from red to pink, because if you start mixing undertones like that, it can start getting muddy, and I really wanted to avoid that as much as I could. So slowly I started adding more magenta into the red mix, and I always dilute it with conditioner. Now, moving back to this color, when I first started putting it on my roots, I stuck with the 40 developer. And basically what I noticed was happening when I was doing my roots so light was when my hair would grow back in, it was such a distinct line between my roots and the red hair dye. It looked insane. It looked ridiculous, and I felt like I had to dye my hair the second that my roots were growing because I was just so unhappy with how it looked. So what I started doing was I started adding less and less developer, and not less developer as terms of like how much I'm putting in, but I started off with 40 and then I would do 30 for a few times, and then I moved on to 20, and now I only use a 10 developer with this. And I feel like it lifts it enough where it's red, but it still keeps that darkness. Now I feel like since my roots are a little bit darker red, that it's just not as a distinct line when my actual hair starts growing in. I hope I'm explaining everything right. If you guys have any questions about anything, then please leave your comments down below. I will absolutely answer any questions that you have. And in terms of developer, basically what developer is how much your cuticle is being opened. So if you're using a 40 developer, then you're opening up that cuticle a lot and you're creating a bigger space for the color to go in. So the less volume of developer that you use, you're opening up the cuticle less. And basically all that 10 does is it just opens up the cuticle enough for you to just deposit that color. So it usually keeps that same level. I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna show you guys how I mix everything. I'm taking this HiColor so you guys can kind of see that ombre effect that I have going on now ever since I started putting less developer. It's much lighter at the ends than it is up here. And then see here, that's where my like new regrowth is, and I'm gonna do that with the 10 developer too. So it's just slowly creating that balayage kind of ombre effect without actually putting any bleach on my hair. I'm just not lifting my roots as much. But if you're going from dark hair to red, then I would definitely suggest using like a 30 or 40 developer, just because you need that lift to actually get it to the lightness that you want. So I'm taking this HiColor. This is 1.2 ounces, and you mix 1 part of this and 2 parts of this. So since this is 1.4, you're gonna put 2.8 ounces of this. Okay, so we got that L'Oreal HiColor in our bowl, and I'm gonna go ahead and mix the developer in. I personally don't use a measuring cup because I've done this enough where I know how much I'm using. But if you're just starting out, then I would definitely recommend measuring it out so you don't put too much of either. Okay, so once we got our gloves on and once we got our mixture all mixed, we're gonna go in and just start applying the color to our regrowth. So I like to section my hair into 4 parts just so that I'm making sure that all of my hair is covered. And just clip all of those sections up. And it's okay if they're not even, they don't have to be perfect, it's just This just helps us to have a good guideline of where we are placing our color. Okay, so now we're all done. You're ready to go. No, I'm just kidding. Now that we look completely insane, we're gonna start. I usually start with the right side of my head and go down and then so forth. So you're gonna wanna take about 1/2 inch sections, and you're gonna wanna make sure that you're painting the front and the back side of each 1 inch section that you're picking up. And it's really, really important to get all of the dark hair. It's okay if it overlaps with the hair that's already red, but you want to absolutely make sure that you're getting the regrowth. And you're basically just going to repeat these steps around your entire head. And don't worry if you're getting it on your scalp when we wash it. If not on the first time you wash your hair, the second time you wash your hair, it'll definitely come out. And you want to make sure you get all your little baby hairs in the front. And once I'm done with each section, I just kind of like to go in with my hands and just like massage my scalp, just to make sure that all the color is being evenly distributed to all your hair. Now we're gonna move on to the next section of our hair, and we're basically just gonna do the same thing to this side. Oh, and another thing I wanted to mention, it's best to dye your hair when it's dirty. I don't know why, but for some reason, dirty hair just picks up color better than clean hair does. So that's a thing to keep in mind before dyeing your hair. Make sure you don't wash it before you're dyeing it. So same thing, once I'm done with that, I'm just gonna go in and massage my scalp. So now with the back section of your hair, it is a little bit hard if you're just starting out. I've been doing this for a while, so I kind of know where I'm going, but if you're just starting out and you are scared that you're gonna miss a spot in the back, you can use a mirror to help in like the back of you to help you see a little bit better, or you can ask your mom or a friend or your boyfriend or whoever to just stand behind you and make sure, kind of guide you a little bit, make sure that you're getting everywhere that you need to. But after a while, you just kind of get used to like feeling around, and you kind of know where to put the color if you do it enough. And again, you always want to make sure, even with the backside, that you're getting the underneath of every section that you're doing. And then once we're done, we're just going to put it up in a little bun and sit with it for 30 minutes. Okay, so I just finished my hair. I washed out the color and I blow dried it and curled the ends a little bit. And you guys can see that the roots are all nice and red like the rest of my hair. And I don't think I'm gonna dye the ends of my hair today. I think I might wait a week or two because I actually kind of like the color that it's fading to, so I feel like I'm just gonna let it be for a little bit. I just really felt like it was time for me to refresh my roots, and some of that color kind of went onto the ends of my hair and refreshed a little bit of that as well. I asked you guys on Instagram and on Snapchat to ask me any questions that you guys have about my hair, about red hair in general, and I got a few that I would like to address because I really want to make sure that I cover everything in this video so it can be as informative as possible for you guys. So one of the questions that I got a lot of were, how long does the color last and if it fades quickly? So here's the thing. Yes, it does fade out really quickly. Every single time that you shower, you will see that pink or red or whatever bleeding out into the water. I only wash my hair once a week, maybe twice a week if it needs it. It sounds a little bit disgusting, but at the beginning it is. Your hair is really oily and it does get oily very quickly, especially since I used to wash my hair every single day. But now that it's been about 2.5 years that I stopped washing it, it doesn't really get oily until maybe like the 4th or 5th day, and usually by then I just put it up or I use some baby powder or dry shampoo, and that really helps to extend the time in between of washing my hair. So my biggest advice to you, if you find that your color is fading out really fast is just don't wash your hair. If you're home and you're not doing anything, throw it up in a bun, put some baby powder and put a headband on, whatever you got to do, and just walk out the door, because if you wash your hair, your color will wash out. It's inevitable. With me washing my hair once or twice a week, I can usually get about 8 weeks out of it. 8, give or take. Sometimes I've definitely gone about like 6 weeks and that was okay. This time I went 9 weeks just because I didn't feel like I needed to dye my hair. I didn't really have a lot of time. I just throw my hair up nowadays usually anyway. So a lot of people ask me how I get my hair so shiny, and I swear it has to do with the fact that I don't wash my hair. If you don't wash your hair, you let those natural oils that your scalp develops kind of go into all of your hair, and when I do wash it, it is so smooth and so shiny and it just feels so healthy. And I used to have really damaged hair from constantly bleaching it and going back to dark to blonde to whatever, and I can honestly say that not washing my hair has absolutely saved it. I do have some split ends just because I have processed my hair in the past, but definitely nowhere where my hair should be. If you're trying to repair damaged hair, I would very much suggest getting a trim. That is really the only way to get rid of split ends. You could also look into some deep conditioning masks. I really like the one from Ion. I think it's in the red bottle. It's for damaged and overworked hair or something like that. That one's really good. Also doesn't leave a buildup in my hair because I don't wash my hair very often. I have to be careful about what products I put in it because they will leave a really bad buildup in my hair. Also, you want to invest in an oil. I use Moroccan argan oil and it is absolutely amazing. I put about a dime-sized amount in my hair when I get out of the shower before I blow dry it. And also every night before I put it up in a bun, I just kind of like run it through my ends, and it really helps keep that nourishment in your hair that it needs. Someone asked if the way that I do my hair damages it. If you're bleaching your hair, it's going to get damaged. If you are processing your hair, it's going to get damaged. Because I'm only processing my roots, it doesn't really get damaged on the ends of my hair. For the last, I want to say, year or so, I've only been putting semi-permanent color. And what semi-permanent color is basically just a stain. So it doesn't actually open up the cuticle at all. It's just depositing color onto your hair. And no, that does not damage your hair. Someone is asking about damaged hair and regards to like straightening and curling it. And my biggest suggestion is to not. And if you have to, then definitely use a heat protectant or an argan oil or something like that just to create a barrier between your hair and the heat tool. And you also want to make sure that you're putting it on the lowest setting possible, because there's absolutely no need to fry your hair at 450 degrees with a straightener or a curling iron. There is absolutely no need for it. Your hair will be straight and your hair will get curled at, if not the lowest setting, then the medium setting. Do not fry your hair. It is not worth it. I personally only heat style my hair about once a week. Usually when I get out of the shower, I'll blow dry it and I'll either straighten it or curl it, and that's it for the week. After I'm no longer satisfied with how it's styled, then I'll usually just throw it up in a ponytail or in a bun and just carry on with my life, because I feel like I've gotten past that point where it's like I need my hair to look nice every day. I'd rather have nice healthy hair as opposed to just having straight hair for a day. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I'm sure everyone else doesn't feel that way, but honestly, I don't think it's worth it to straighten your hair. I suggest just leaving it alone. Just don't even look at it if it bothers you that much. Just don't even look at your hair. Someone asked how I keep my hair so bright. Honestly, your hair will not be bright unless it is light underneath. If you have dark hair or like medium brown hair and you put red hair dye over it, it's not gonna get bright. It's just not. You need to get your hair to be light enough for the actual brightness to pick up. This hair dye does not need any bleach. It lightens your hair while it is depositing color. So yes, it has peroxide and yes, you are processing it, but you're not technically putting straight bleach on your hair. Bleach is the worst thing that you can put on your hair. It absolutely destroys it. But this stuff, I'm very happy with. I do not think it really damages your hair. If you're putting it all over, yes, it will damage your hair. It depends what condition your hair is in the first place. If you already have damaged hair and you're putting this on top, obviously it's just going to damage it more. If your hair is in pretty good condition, then you should be fine. I did it to my boyfriend's cousin a few days ago, and her hair was already pretty light and it came out absolutely beautiful. I just put this all over her hair. This says it's for dark hair only, but I put it on her light hair and the color picked up pretty nicely. So I told her to let me know how it goes and if it fades any faster than usual or anything like that. So I'll keep you guys updated on how it works on her hair if you have light hair or maybe like an ombre and you want to do something like this but you don't know exactly what you should use. You could definitely try the L'Oreal HiColor. And I think that's it. Those were basically the most asked questions, and I'm sure people have more questions that I will answer personally. You guys can leave them on this video down below, or you can leave comments on my Instagram or on my Snapchat, and I usually always answer if you message me privately. I just feel like I don't want to publicly answer someone about their hair because then everyone else is going to see it and think that they should take that advice. But something like hair is very individual and it really depends on the person. So just because this combo works for me doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for everybody. And this color in particular, by the way, if you have ever put black hair dye on your hair, this will not work. It will not pick up the color. I did this before. I dyed my hair black for years, and what happened was my roots were extremely bright and the shaft of my hair did not lighten at all. This color does not work on black hair. Works best on virgin hair. So if you have virgin hair that has never been processed or dyed before, then this is the perfect thing for you. And if you already have light hair and you want to get it to be red, then definitely look into a semi-permanent color. It doesn't necessarily have to be Ion. I like Ion colors. I think they last a really long time and they're really nourishing to the hair. I mix mine with conditioner usually, and I always feel like my hair feels extra nourished when I'm done dyeing it. This you don't have to mix with anything. You just put it straight in a mixing bowl, and then you can mix some conditioner just to break up the product because it's really thick and kind of hard to work with. And I think that's it. I feel like I covered basically everything. I hope I didn't leave anything out. If I do, then I'll put a description in the little bottom bar below. And yeah, that's basically it. I really hope that you guys learned something and this video was informative and hopefully really helpful to all of you that have been asking about my hair and what I do for it. But yeah, I love you all so much and I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I'll see you in my next video.